Hi, welcome to the Taco Cast. I'm Crystal.
I'm Will.
And you're our audience. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Sunday.
Is this close enough for you?
You're so creepy, you need to stop.
All right. We're off to a great start.
So, this morning I was thinking about doing our episode today on bat conservation because this is October. It's National Bat Month, and the end of October is National Bat Week. However, Will here suggested, jokingly, why don't we do our episode on how not to raise a brat? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. So, you can't. Done. I will see you guys next Sunday.
Done. Bye.
You have a fine day. No. So, honestly, there's only so much parenting influence. You know, eventually society gets a hold of your kid. Hopefully you've given them a good foundation, but even the best of parents, sometimes your kids turn out to be assholes. Not a lot you can do. I've got 3 primary bullet points. You can't. Well, maybe a little bit. And everyone's definition is different. And that's true. Everyone's definition of a bad kid or a bratty kid is different. Depending on your parenting style, different things are considered acceptable to different parents. We raised our daughter to question everything, and yeah, that made for some really, really tough parenting moments, because when you raise your kid that you should never do anything without having been given a good reason to do so, sometimes even, hey, get in the car becomes a struggle.
This is true. We have definitely had that.
Mm-hmm. But we felt it was important to raise a child who knew that you know, my brain just kind of it's like squirrels. They just go in a bunch of different directions. They scattered. So especially in my family, we were raised that authority is not absolute, and that no one in a position of authority over you should be able to order you without giving you a reason for what they're ordering you to do so. And knowing the history of some areas of my family, that is for damn good reason. And I think if we go back historically, there have been abuses against citizens by people in authority, and unquestioning authority will always lead to problems. I think the Stanford prison experiment is probably a major... Do
you want to explain what the Stanford prison experiment was for those out there who may not know it?
So essentially, they took 2 groups of students, and one were prisoners, and one group was guards. And they essentially set these people up in this dynamic that they've created of unquestioned authority and subservient people, and then watched what happened, and the entire situation devolved into one where groups of students were abusing groups of other students, literally for no reason other than they could. They were allowed to. It was encouraged. They were in positions of unquestioned authority. Now, different people have had a variety of different opinions about why that happened, and in my personal opinion, the reason why everybody tries to excuse it is because it's really, really uncomfortable for people to look at something that horrifying and go, that could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to do that, and everybody wants to think that in any given stressful situation, they will always rise above and do the right thing. Historically, that is not the case.
Not even close.
Yeah. And
humans are flawed.
We're all flawed creatures.
Yeah.
And personally, I think accepting that, you know, assuming you're always going to be perfect is where the road to ruin leads. Mm-hmm. Accepting that you are flawed and that you can make mistakes and that sometimes those mistakes will be compounded, I think that's the best course of action. I don't trust doctors who assume that they always know the right answer. The doctor who tells me I don't know, but I know where to find the answer, I will take every time. over a doctor goes, I absolutely know what's going on. No, you don't. No one knows everything. And if you're trying to tell me you do, you don't. So, that being said, we had raised Elizabeth to, that it is okay to question people who are in positions of authority over you. Being her parents, that also included us, and that did make shit hard sometimes. Elizabeth, go take a shower. But why? Oh my God. Because you have to go to bed in an hour, and that's why. Okay, but why? Can you just do it? But then, as the kid gets older, we sit down and explain to her, okay, because you're young and you're growing, and your brain grows and develops while you're resting, so you need as much rest as you can get so that you can grow optimally. And then the child knows your reasoning behind that, and she goes to bed. You don't have to tell her the rest of the reasoning, which is, I want to watch this scary movie, and you will cry if you're even subjected to a minute of it, so can you please go to bed so your father and I can have some parent time, and we can watch this movie we've been wanting to watch for the last 2 weeks. You don't got to tell them that part.
So we can make her a brother. Took a lot of practice in 18 years, but we got one.
Woo! We got the whole set.
Yeah. Got all of them, just like trading cards.
That's right.
So, back to how to not raise a child to be a brat.
Oh, so how do you not raise a child to be a brat? Well,
if you know the answer, let us know. Put it down in the comment section.
So, we're going to start out with a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know because a lot of people have different definitions. To Will and I, a child who asks why is not a bad child.
No.
So, a child who laughs at you while they throw a rock through your window, oh yeah, now we're into problem zone.
Ass kicking.
Mm-hmm.
That's ass kicking territory right there.
So, can I diverge for a second?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, on that topic, I recall when I was growing up.
Through rocks through windows?
No.
Oh.
But one of the main lessons and one of the things that I think I appreciated a lot, now that I'm older, I didn't appreciate it then I thought it was bullshit, but now that I'm older, I was like, oh yeah, that was a good idea, is when I broke something, especially when I broke something that belonged to someone else, I fixed it. My mom had me fix it. If it wasn't something that could be fixed, my mother would pay for the repairs or whatever, and then she would show me the bill, and then I would work that off. Usually doing chores and, in hindsight, pulling weeds and whatnot did not, equate to the amount of money that my mother had actually spent. But the lesson was when you break something, you fix it. And I think that that's actually really, really important. Later on, when you get older as an adult, that's an important lesson. And, having that groundwork, I think was really important. And I'm going to use that to segue into my displeasure with the legal system and how, when someone graffitied my mother's driveway, the prosecuting attorney actually laughed when I asked him what he was going to do to get my mother's driveway fixed. When I attended this person's trial, and I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do to get her driveway fixed? Great, she's going to go to jail. Awesome. What are you going to do to fix my mom's driveway? And him and his buddies laugh and go, what do you want to do? Do you want us to take her over there so she can fix it? Yeah. Yeah, why not? Yeah, drive her ass down. Give her a scrub brush. Fix it. Why is that a bad thing? Why isn't that what you should be doing regardless? You've got people in here who broke shit. Take them to it and get them to fix it. I feel like that should be an important bedrock of our justice system. Rather than just putting people in jail and having them, stay there for a while. Take them to fix some things.
By keeping them there in jail, the courts make money, and then that's a whole other problem.
That's
true.
true.
If we just keep on, and they could take them out and make them do it with free labor and have them clean up the city or whatever, pick up trash along the highway, which some places do. But at the same time, the longer they're incarcerated, the more money that goes into the system that keeps the wheels moving.
That's true. The prison system.
They're not about making things right.
Nope, it's about making money. I mean, private prisons sell them on the basis of recidivism.
Yeah.
It's not about taking people in prison and making them into better citizens. It's about making sure they stay in the system.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole separate topic.
Go down that rabbit hole for a while.
So, I thought we would briefly go over the now four main parenting styles, and discuss that a little bit. But before we move into that, I want to say no one parent is one of these parenting styles. Everybody is going to be a little bit different. Who you are as a person, your culture that you came from, the area in which you currently live, and your child's personality should all be influences on your parenting decisions. And if you don't 100% fit into any given category, that's okay. Moving, changing, that's what humans should be doing. So, Diana Baumrind, I'm probably not saying that, Baumrind, I'm probably not saying that correctly. Anyways, she was a clinical psychologist, developmental psychologist, who actually came up with the 3 parenting styles. And a lot of places you're going to find blogs, you're going to find a ton of scholarly journals, you're going to find all kinds of stuff about parenting styles. Diana is the one who originally came up with this. Back in like the 70s, I believe it was, is when she came up with this. She's a doctor that had both clinical and private practice, or clinical, public and private practice. She's very invested in human development and helping people to basically be better parents. And she identified 3 parenting styles: the authoritarian, the authoritative, and the permissive parent. And it's basically the very rigid parent who does not allow their child to do any or have any input into parenting or the structure of the household. The parent who allows their kids to do just whatever they feel like. And then there's the parent who sets up structure but takes their child's input into consideration. Now, again, no one parent is going to fit 100% into any of those categories. For some parents, for most parents, you're going to be a mix. And I think most people try to hit for authoritarian.
Okay.
Authoritative. Most parents want to hit for...
That's why I rolled my eyes.
I know,
like, oh,
yeah. I think most parents try to hit for having a good structure, explaining to their kids. We all want to raise good kids.
Good kids become good adults.
Mm-hmm. Good kids become good adults.
But don't overstep it.
Yeah.
Well, what about the helicopter parents? Where are they at?
Honestly, helicopter parenting is not necessarily a separate phenomenon, but pretty close to being a separate phenomenon. The helicopter parenting is often the over-involved parent.
Yeah, where are they at?
They are not on that list.
Because they don't do it right.
Well, keeping in mind that her list was developed again in the 70s. And then that was...
She should update it then.
Actually, she died 2 years ago in a car wreck.
Well, I'm sorry, but she should have updated it.
I will
that car wreck.
Hold a seance and let her know.
Please do.
Her list was updated.
Bust out the Ouija board.
Several years back to include a 4th category, the uninvolved parent, which is a parent that literally does not care where their kid is at or what they're doing.
Damn.
And they do exist. I was not aware of it. And before we get too much farther into this, I 100% admit that I am on the permissive side of parenting.
Yes.
The kid's like, hey, Mom, I want to take this Switch. And I'm just like, but you're so cute. So here you go. You can have it. Do what you
Not from like a store. Take it from the store.
From me. Took it from me, like out of my hand. He's like,
we would never allow our children to steal from others.
Yeah, literally I've got the Switch and the baby's just like...
that baby got you wrapped around his little finger.
So cute. Yesterday. So on Friday we had a barbecue at work. A socially distanced barbecue where all the food was prepared separately, brought in. We had gloves and a sanitation system, and it was actually really good. So there was a bunch of food left over, and they put me in charge of cleanup. So as the last group was there, I was going around and I was like, hey, everybody eat? Awesome. Box it up. Take some stuff home. Take some cupcakes. Take some of this. The more stuff that is left is the more stuff that I got to clean up. So, load your pockets. You know, do you want a box? Here, take some stuff. So I got everybody to take a bunch of stuff, and there was still a ton of stuff left over. So I grabbed some stuff to donate to one of the local food kitchens, and everything that was perishable I brought home, and I was like, okay, eat. So one of the things that was there was cupcakes, and I had set them on the counter, and the baby gets into the cupcakes, and I'm like, you cannot have a cupcake right now. And so he goes and toddles off, and I'm talking to my mother-in-law, and then he toddles back in, and he toddles back out again, and she goes, he's got a cupcake. And now, in my defense, she said, he has a cupcake, like one cupcake. And I was like, okay, you know what, one cupcake, it's probably going to be fine. He really, really wants those cupcakes. I'll, once we finish this conversation, I'll go put the cupcakes up so he can't get more cupcakes, right? So we finish our conversation. I go into the kitchen, and he does not have a cupcake. He has all of the cupcakes. Go around the corner, and now we've been having this conversation maybe 5-10 minutes. Like, it has not been that long. I go into the living room. So the way our house is set up, like, here's the kitchen, here's the living room, here's where I'm standing with my mother-in-law, right? So I've got my back to the kitchen when he'd come in and come back out, and I'm talking to her. So I could see the living room, and I can see my toddler's head, but I can't 100% see what he's doing, but I can see his head. So, I figure we're good. And I've been a parent long enough that I should know that, no, he is not good. So when I finally go to be like, hey, bud, he has taken all of the cupcakes. He has scooped all of the frosting off of the cupcakes, and he has decorated himself with cupcake frosting. He's got little stripes on himself. He's got a big patch on his forehead. He's got little patterns he's put all over himself. He has decorated himself with cupcake frosting, and he then proceeded to decorate my floor with the remainder of the cupcakes.
So a 4-year-old.
Yep.
With cupcakes.
Yeah.
How did you think that was going to work out?
Yeah, not well. I assumed he was going to eat the cupcake.
Well, he probably ate some of it. Probably some of the frosting.
Yeah, and he also wore a lot of the frosting. So pitfalls of a permissive parenting. Anyway, so they updated it to include the uninvolved parent. And those are parents who literally do not care what their kid is doing. If you go, hey, where's Timmy? Who's Timmy? They've got no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's an extreme example, but they do exist.
Huh.
So
you're more of a permissive
parent?
parent?
I am more of a permissive parent.
Where would you put me?
I would put you, honestly, probably also a permissive parent, but closer to,
Gestapo?
no.
Oh.
See, he jokes about the baby having me wrapped around his finger, but he gives Will here the sad face, and
It's so hard. He bats his big brown eyes at me, and he does this thing where he's like, goes like this, like he's crying, like he's wiping away tears that are not there.
You're not crying.
And I'm like, okay. I guess one, 40-ounce bag of potato chips is okay. Yo, you want the keys to my truck? Here you go.
Yeah, literally we hide stuff that he's not supposed to have, not to keep him out of it, but because we know if he'll find it, we'll probably eventually give in and let him have it. So it's easier on us.
But he's 4. He's so cute.
It's adorable. Anyways, so you're going to see a lot of stuff, and you probably have already encountered these 4 parenting styles, but a lot of people don't know where that came from. And it came from Diana Baumrind. And a child's developmental psychologist back in the 70s. And she's actually got a huge body of work that she put out on a variety of topics, all dealing with human development. And she actually caught a bit of controversy because she did a study on corporal punishment, spanking, physical discipline. And she found that when carefully controlled for other confounding factors, which is an issue that a lot of studies always have problems with, is controlling for outside variables. Socioeconomic status being one of the largest ones for studies of outcomes. When she carefully controlled for confounding variables, in the context of a nurturing, that mid-range, that not authoritative, but the mild physical discipline does not produce negative outcomes. And she got a lot of controversy for that. People were very upset at her. They disparaged her work and whatnot. And one researcher wrote
these people who got upset with her, are these the same people who, demand that every one of their children get a participation trophy? I have to ask.
I don't know.
Because some because people scream the loudest doesn't mean that they're right.
That's 100% true. And I think what a lot of it comes down to is that we do know that oftentimes physical discipline borders on abusive and it produces negative outcomes.
Did you, growing up, have, consequences like that? Where you got spanked or...
A couple of times, yes. And I see...
2 times in your entire life?
Yeah, 2 times. And I think that's...
I lived through a situation, to interject here, where growing up, if I did something wrong, up until my father died, if I did something wrong, there was hell to be paid. I knew the consequences of my actions. And even as a child, under the age of 10, I knew if I do this, this is what's going to happen when my daddy finds out. And oh, hell no. You just didn't do it. Because daddy would make you go get your own damn switch off the tree. And you didn't want that. Because there's nothing that is more terrifying than the fact that you do something, you screw up, you get caught, and then somebody tells you, there's the tree over there, go get your own switch.
And that is one of the big issues with physical discipline. A lot of the times it raises kids to not get caught.
Become better criminals? What does it teach them?
It erodes the trust between the child and the parent. Children don't tell their parents things because they're more worried about being caught than they are worried about what's happened.
I didn't have to tell my dad. I swear to God, he used to tell me that he had little blue jays that would tell him, I saw it. I know what you did. What did I do? Well, the blue jays told me. What? Yeah, the little blue jay was sitting in the tree and told me. I'm like, oh, damn it. I was convinced there for a long time that there were little blue jays in the trees around me that were narking me off.
I thought my mom actually had eyes in the back of her head. I went to go put a hat on her one day so that she couldn't see what I was going to do. So
I guess, for parenting plans, for being a parent, you have to be a little bit of everything, don't you?
You have to be malleable. You have to know when a situation it requires a more permissive stance, when a situation requires a more authoritarian stance, and you're gonna mess up. You 100% will. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. You're going to encounter a situation and you're going to be like, yeah, I could probably stand to be a little bit more permissive in this situation, and that's not going to work out well. You're going to encounter a situation where you're going to be like, I need to have a firm line, I need to teach my kid 100%, blah, and it's going to damage your relationship with your kid. Here's the thing, you can always come back from that. As long as you do your best. You're going to make mistakes. Every parent is going to. I have. Will has.
No, I'm perfect.
Will has. Every parent is going to make mistakes. And as long as you do your best, your children will know that you're doing your best. And that's what a good parent is. And that's how you raise a good kid, is by doing your best. Don't worry about making mistakes. Well, worry about it, Don't be just like, what ifs? Worry about making mistakes, but don't fret over it. Because you're going to. Everybody does. There is no perfect parent. There is no perfect parent.
So, I guess I've gotten some things right, in all this. I'm not sure what, though, but I got some of these things down. I mean, so back to the different styles.
Yeah.
Where does morals and ethics and religion play into that?
Well,
because you can't be some like a helicopter parent and expect that that you're teaching your kids they're going to pick up on that. Are they going to have the same morals and ethics as a child from a permissive parent?
Again, it's going to depend. morals and ethics aren't really something that necessarily fits into a particular parenting style. It's they fit into all of them, but an authoritative parent, not the authoritarian, but authoritative parent is going to be the one who's going to have the most success inputting their morals and values into a child, because they create a give and take relationship with their kid. Authoritarian parents, authoritarian parents are they're just too rigid for that. Somebody who is always do what I say when I say it, because that parenting style, the people who are firmly in that camp, like I said, everybody has a little bit of all, but the people who are, most of their parenting is in that camp, they don't take the time to explain to their children the why behind what they do. And when you don't give, and that why is the base. And if you don't give your children a base.
Well, all right, so couldn't you start off with the base being, I know this is going to be hard for you to understand because you're not of someone of faith, but wouldn't that be a base? Start off with, a belief, system that is based, religious, faith based,
Mm-hmm.
and then morals and ethics, from there. And then you mix in a little bit of all this,
Yeah. But again, you have to give your children the why.
Yeah, but I don't like answering the why 1,000 times a day.
No one does, but that's how kids learn and grow.
Why?
And even when
I don't know why, just do it.
Mm-hmm. And that's an okay answer too. When you're telling your kid to do something, especially if it's something that revolves around their safety, it's okay to say, I do not have time to explain this to you right now. Do what I've asked, and we will discuss it later. That's 100% okay.
Why?
Because it teaches your child that you have their best interest at heart.
Why? Why?
Say goodbye to Will now.
Will Dad had to end. He said why too many times.
And again, it gets tricky. Yeah. It gets hassling, and it's okay to tell your kids, I cannot handle this right now. I got a lot of stuff going on. Every parent's got a lot of stuff going on right now.
So
again, the authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, uninvolved.
What about the parent that lives vicariously through their children?
Well, again,
I know moms and dads, both of them, who live through their children. Like they were never the high school football player, the star quarterback, and now they got their little 12-year-olds out there running laps around the track, throwing 300-400 footballs a day, just to they get better and better and better so they can be that star athlete. I know parents, fathers like that.
Yeah.
I know mothers who have put their daughters into dance schools because they wanted them to be popular, to live through them. And it's scary as hell. There's not just, wanting him to do something that you have an interest in and taking an interest in your child's activities. There's a line you step over when you become abusive to the point where they don't have any say in it anymore. And it's scary as hell if you actually see it itself, from the outside looking in on it. And it's really hard, I guess, for these parents who are doing this, because they may not necessarily know, that they are what they are doing at that moment in that time, and not be able to step away and see what they're doing.
That is probably true. And I would actually say that probably falls under the authoritarian parent. Yeah, authoritarian parent. Because one of the hallmarks of that parenting style is that they're not that interested in their kids' input, feelings, wants, and desires. And for people who are forcing their children to do activities that the kid isn't really all that interested in, typically either aren't interested or they're not receiving those messages that well. The kid is like, I really don't want to do soccer, and the mom's like, oh, it is your favorite, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so what do we have in conclusion to this?
So I think
don't be a giant piece of shit.
I think my main conclusion, first off, is I think while it's difficult to get a hold of them, there are various places where you can get a hold of Baumrinn's work, and I think reading the original work is probably going to wind up being better than anything you're going to pick up from a blog, because stuff gets lost in translation. And her original work is actually pretty good. The other thing that I would like to close with is. You are going to make mistakes, and it's going to be okay. Because, like I said beforehand, there is no perfect parent, regardless of what Will says.
All right. I'll keep my opinion to myself that I am the perfect parent.
Honestly, as long as you do your best, and your
That's all you can really do.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to make mistakes. It happens. We're human. You know, we're flawed to begin with, and from the day we're born, and we're flawed to the day we die.
Yeah.
No, not even Mother Teresa was perfect. But, okay.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much wraps everything up we wanted to talk about, when it comes to parenting. If you have any questions or comments about parenting style, please put a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. And while we're at it, at the same time, I'm going to have to, give a short little plug to, as you see here on the screen somewhere, either here, down over here, over there, somewhere in between the two of us, is our mug for this YouTube channel. And these are available. The live clickable link is in the actual description of the video itself. We have to pay for the electricity and everything to run all this. It's not free. And since we're not monetized on YouTube, we have the Patreon that you could, support our content for as little as $1 a month, or buy a mug, and enjoy your coffee along with us. I mean, obviously, we can't get this saying on a mug. It's copyrighted, by somebody else. And so
it's because of the 3 F-bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
3 or 4.
It's
3.
Yeah.
3.
Or 6, I guess, if you count both sides.
Yeah. Right. Whoa. We are way over the maximum.
We're over the F-bomb threshold.
But thank you for joining us this week. We appreciate everybody, stopping by and watching the video content.
Yeah.
And what would you like to end with?
You guys have a great day.
Ah.
No, that's okay. We can just pick up where we were at.
Okay. Because I don't know where we're at. Do you want me to turn the camera up? It's recording right now.
You want to watch me answer my messages? The sitter is not able to come meet us today.
Huh?
How long ago did it go?
It's on.
Okay.
I'm recording right now.
Hey, Tim.
Oh, you gotta go?
Yeah.
What's up?
I get back into pick up my grandkids.
Oh.
Where they're at. They're not at the hotel, but Tony's sisters.
Say hi to the audience, Tim.
Bud. Drive safe, bud.
Will do. Say goodbye.
Drive careful.
Will do.
All right.
Bye, Tim.
Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Thanks for letting me stay.
Not a problem. Do the intro?
But you're not next to me. Hi, welcome to the Taco Cast. I'm Crystal,
I'm Will.
and you're our audience. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Sunday.
Is this close enough for you?
You're so creepy. You need to stop.
Oh crap! I've had it focused on the table. It's not even pointed at us. All right, hold on. Let me change the tripod setting.